Hello orienteering friends, welcome to the second day of the Czech Relay Cup. This day I was competing in H or M135 category, which is more suited to, let's say, my age. This is the start of probably some other category than mine. Because I was filming it, right, with the drone. So now we were starting in a bigger pack together with, I think it was like the boys category I don't know, like H18. Again, I'm starting slowly, keeping myself at the end of the pack. First, just trying to, orient my map according to the north, and then slowly gaining speed and my tempo. I must confess that I didn't really do any warm up this day, so maybe that was partly why I didn't really push it at this stage of the race. I just wanted to get comfy and warmed up. Now my control number one is the middle one. And the strategy to get to that control was pretty easy. You can see that there is this patch of a white forest inside the greenish one. So basically I wanted to get there and then cross it and just follow that direction and maybe get to the fenced part. But as I remember, I actually didn't really notice the fence, so it wasn't really the point that I was aiming for. I got a little bit distracted by the control that was at the edge of the vegetation boundary and the stream, but at that point I think I correctly, I wouldn't say assumed but I understood that this is not my control. I was expecting my control to be little further from this kind of non-runnable forest, so I just went on, although of course I saw this control, but I wasn't even going to that control. I just followed the stream because to me it seemed like the control must be somewhere in the bend of the stream. Actually it was some kind of vegetation boundary, but who knows, maybe it was kind of erosion gully, I don't know. To me right now it seems that it was the stream bend. Now going to control 2, I decided to run around from the right side of this fence because it seemed that I will avoid some non-runnable forest. This kind of forest is more open, although there were branches and maybe you can say it was a little bit longer, but to me it was more pleasant to run. Now here I noticed correctly that there is this green patch, so everything was kind of lining up in my opinion. Of course, here as I was climbing up this slope, I wasn't really running because it was difficult for me to run. I was kind of without power, and I also wanted to, you know, properly enter this kind of non-runnable forest. It was, you know, you don't want to rush the things. So here I also saw the other runners, so it was obvious that my control will be probably the same as theirs. So now I was just following them. Control number 3. Again, my general idea was like, let's take a bearing basically. As for the contours, I kind of understood that I will be going down the hill a little bit, so I didn't try to go. I tried to follow the contours as much as I could, but I wasn't really climbing. I was just trying to keep my elevation, and you know, this was fairly runnable forest, and I was just trying to keep my direction as straight as possible. I got a little bit confused around this part because I thought that I will be running in, you know, more open forest, but as you saw, I climbed a little bit, so I stayed still in this like, it's a runnable forest, but it's still pretty dense. And here, you know, just by trying to avoid all the branches, I slowly started to descend, and I started to see the track on my left, and I also see this non-runnable forest on my left, so I was aiming for the edge of this non-runnable forest. And from there I think I didn't take any bearing like with a compass. I just kind of assumed that the control will be in that general direction, and yeah, it was easy. It worked out pretty well. I don't see any other runners going to the control, but I pretty much nailed it fine. Then here I saw that there is this small erosion, like you know, like for a water, if you want to direct the water in a certain way. And then so I try to keep like I try to use this kind of direction to get me to at least point me to the next control. And then when I get to this clearing, I saw other runners as well, so it was like obvious which way to go. To control 5, yeah, well, to be honest, I didn't really know how to approach it at first. I saw this hashed area, and I knew that it won't be easily runnable. So I was thinking how to avoid it, but as you can see, you can't really avoid it. It was all the way up to the track basically. So I just kind of follow the other runners in that direction. This part was uphill, so I didn't really run it all the way up. Here I just walked because all the branches, and mainly because I was out of the breath, let's say. You have to, if you want to run in such vegetation, you have to raise your knees high, let's say. So that's really difficult. But after we got to the track, then let's say the contours and the how you say that, the ground like flattened, you know. We basically reached some kind of ridge of the mountain. So here we started to descend almost a little bit, so it was like runnable, so I could breathe out, I could maybe speed up a little bit. And yeah, my anchor point was this non-runnable forest on my left, so I knew that I have to go around it, and then I have to get to the vehicle road. So basically nothing really difficult here, let's say. When we get to the vehicle road, it started to get interesting. Because the vegetation that I saw, it wasn't really lining up with my, the distance there was kind of, I was expecting that greenish forest, that greenish patch a little bit more into the forest, but it was actually quite close. So that was somewhat, yeah, here I thought this is the forest, this is the greenish patch, but I think it was not it. It must have been something else more to my right. And because this one seemed very close to me. And here, yeah, well, my direction was kind of good, but here I noticed that I'm again in these erosions that are made to get away the water. So I knew that this was not my control, because my control was clear, like a fallen tree trunk or the rest of it. And here it is. So again, this was like, it was easily visible in the forest. Now to control 6, here it was a long, no, like it's not a long leg, it's like average, but it was uphill. So I was able to run like half of it, and it was of course a slow run, as you can see. And I thought at first that I have a good direction, but somewhere after this track, maybe I got distracted by this runner, or I don't know, but I started climb up more more uphill, and I was less following my direction. Probably at this point I was a little bit lost, so I didn't know my exact position at this point, so that was also one of the mistakes. And because I wasn't sure where I am, I was, let's say, blindly following these runners. And all of us, at least this guy in front of me, we ended up a little bit away from the control, I think. He probably is going proper direction, so he got there. Definitely he got there. But as you can see now, I'm climbing up, and it's not the proper place. Here this guy also climbed up, and he also got lost here. Now there were many other runners kinda lost. As you can see on the map, our control is more to the left. Here on the right you can see all the other runners, but because this was the first leg, again there were lots of people looking for the same thing, and as you can see, this guy understood it, that we are too far to the right, and he went left in the direction from where this guy was coming. Fortunately, the control was not that far, so we could get there in like 20 seconds. And yeah, we lost 40 seconds altogether, but as you could see, many others lost the same time. Now my control is the ditch behind the top, and yeah, I took a bearing. I was kind of following the other runners as well. This area was a little bit tricky because it was all kind of bumpy, and you know, every other feature looked like some kind of ditch or big erosion, so I was looking at almost everything just to get myself to, you know, to hold on to something. But since I was close to these guys, I was also, you know, keeping my distance to them. I was like, they might have the same control as me, maybe not. And as you can see, the two of them, they had the same control, so I kind of followed their direction, and then it was easy to find the control. Now here I took a bearing and tried to run as straight as possible. As you will see, I think I wasn't that successful in keeping my direction. I think I deviated a little bit. Now I'm correcting myself. So yeah, so far so good. This part was nice because it was downhill, so I could enjoy it. And here this guy is probably running, looking for this control number 7, this fallen tree trunk. But I was more focused on you know, this non-readable forest, let's say, or greenish forest. So that was one point that I was attracted to and I was searching for, and then I realized, okay, the forest is behind the vehicle road or behind this track. So first I wanted to hit the track, and then I finally saw somewhere in the direction where I'm running, I saw this forest. So I directed myself there, and of course the control was quite easy to find. The difficult part comes to control number 9, because I think it's very tricky to take a bearing and to keep it keep your direction in this kind of forest, because the trees are always in some kind of rows, and they threw you off your direction, you know, because they are so close to each other. You are kind of not drawn, but driven by the orientation of the how the trees were planted. So here around this point I was thinking, yeah, I'm at the track, and I have to continue. Here the forest started to get a little bit more thinner, so it was a little bit more runnable. I also was noticing that the edge, you know, the vegetation boundary, so I was directing myself there. Of course, you are still trying to avoid the branches and you are looking for your exit point. Here, you know, I think I was kind of lucky because I pretty much came straight to my control, and then I could, you know, continue to control number 10, where this was like a small patch of trees, young trees. Obviously, first you have to cross the stream, and then I was like, there is this clearings, right? So I should be going along this like yellowish or orange-like area, which is a clearing. So I was just following that, and then at this point the runners from my category appeared. So I was kind of going in the direction as they were going, so let's say it was easy, you know, again thanks to the first leg. I would probably found the control as well by myself, but maybe it would take a little longer. Now this ditch to number 11, that was clear, like you take a bearing and you run. Again, these guys, they were pushing it, and when I saw this guy, I was thinking, man, he's so good. He's like, he looked older than me, and he was definitely running same pace as I did, as well as this guy. So I was like, man, how is this possible? The other guys that are in front of me, they look like same age, maybe younger than me. So they were not. I was not that disturbed by them, but these older guys, or at least they looked like older, they were, you know, pushing me. Now here, the only thing that can help you orient are these green patches. So for a while I was running along this path, but not so much. I mainly was trying to keep my direction, and I was checking on the other runners. So here again we are climbing up the slope. It's kind of runnable. I was trying to push it, but you know, like for me it's better if I'm able still to use this time when I'm just walking. I use this time to orient myself. Now it's kind of plateaued, and so I was able to run, and but I wasn't really pushing it at this point. For me, I was trying to keep my direction, and I was trying to check that I'm at the right place and that I know where I am. Here you can see that I'm, or not just me, but all the others are looking around. Here, just on our left, there was this small erosion gully, and then here where I noticed this greenish area or greenish vegetation, I figured there must be this ditch. So I went that way. To control 13 again, I took a bearing, but generally I just followed the other guys, you know. I didn't want to follow them blindly, but so I took the bearing, but still you kind of follow them anyways. It's very like seductive and easy. Now to, you know, this can be tricky because there are a lot of these small green patches of young trees, and to be honest, it wasn't really clear which one is which. So here I kind of followed the guys a little bit, and then, you know, thinking maybe it will be behind this green patch, you know, somewhere. And it was this, again, fallen tree trunk, whatever. So it was visible, and nothing, you know, nothing more to say about it. This is control 13. Yeah, this is control 13. Here I think I got a little bit exhausted and I lost my concentration because as you can see, I deviated from the like direction quite a bit, and now I was just running the same way as these guys, but they had different control. Here the control 13 was farsted, and I should have been more careful with keeping myself, you know, more, how to say that, like more connected to the map, you know. Here I think I was quite lost, but I knew that I still didn't pass the track, so I was also kind of orienting myself, you know. I have to first pass the track and then I will see what I can do with it. But as I was saying previously, I think I got a little bit exhausted and I lost my concentration. So here I missed that I'm running on this kind of path or whatever it was, and that I should follow this direction. And instead I followed this guy and the other guys, and their control was the one below me. So even, you know, I even like deviated even more because all the branches probably, I guess. So here when I got to a point where I saw this gatekeeper stand, and I found that thing in the map, and here was the control for these guys, but my controls was a little bit up, so here I stopped. Here I had to, you know, figure out where am I, because this is not, I didn't, like, I expected end of some kind of vegetation boundary, and this was not it. So I knew that I missed it. I'm not sure why I'm going down again. Maybe because I wanted to grab on something, and I grabbed on that fence. And when I realized where am I went up. But this was not. The problem is that I didn't really. This was very, very runnable forest. It was not. For me, it was difficult to distinguish it when I was running towards it at first. And because I was so far away, I didn't really saw it. And that's why I made this mistake. Basically, it was like a minute mistake. And I basically lost all the pack. Now, as you can see, control 14 was same for all of us, but I didn't catch them. Here I at least at this point I was running alone. I wasn't distracted by any runners, and I could focus on my orienteering. So I was feeling relieved. So I could see this fenced area, and I knew, okay, I'm here, that's cool. Now I'm going to the clearing, and I will go along the clearing and then straight to the control. So again, you can see that I'm in my typical way of running, where I kind of need to check on map and kind of stop from time to time, just to like readjust myself. Here I focused on the vegetation boundary. Basically there was kind of a distinct it was distinctive. I was able to say here is the boundary. And then when I ran straight down, I basically saw the control from afar. Here I'm just walking because I was, folding the map so I can get a better, hold of it when going to control 15. First, I just followed this vegetation boundary, but then soon I basically ended up in this narrow ride, but this narrow ride ended up here somewhere, and I had to enter this non-readable forest anyways. Not sure why I went so far high, but it seemed like there was probably some light, so it looked like that it will be possible to pass through easily. So maybe that's why I went that way. And then I appeared here in this, how to say that, it's not a clearing, but it's a young forest. It wasn't that dense, but there were these cut down trees lying around. So it wasn't really runnable. And as you can see, the grass was very high. And at this point I was also tired, so I wasn't running until I got into this open forest. And I followed this fenced area basically. Of course, here it's quite clear that first you have to get to the track, and when you get to the track, the control should be on your left somewhere. As I said, I was already kind of, over oxygenized, let's say, like not really concentrated. You are kind of tired. So I was running. I was looking for this fence, but I I think I didn't saw it, and then here I didn't know. I noticed the control like on the last while or in the last moment. You know, I remember that I almost overpassed it. Yeah, control number 16. That is pretty straightforward because it's the like the last control before you enter the like the arena. So I was just following this girl. I'm not sure I overpassed her. No, I didn't, probably. I thought, well, whatever. She was running in my pace, so it was kind of suiting me. Here, of course, I'm trying to run as fast as I can, but at the same time I wasn't really pushing it, like, because I knew that there is still some track left. But I heard my buddies from my team shouting at me, come on, boy, keep it up, go, go, go. So that was nice. Now here I think I did a small mistake because I could have gone basically straight, like more to the right, and I went to the left and around this. Yeah, well, it's non-runnable forest. It wasn't runnable, that's for sure, because it was very young. But this wasn't the best choice, I think. And then I also got distracted by the descriptions. The descriptions said that the tree is in the middle, and from in the middle of the trees. But I from my understanding, it didn't make sense. It was just a tree at the edge of this non-runnable forest, and man, I was so exhausted that I wasn't really thinking. I think if I would have been coming through this non-runnable forest from the right, I would see the control. But here I didn't see the control, so I was, a little bit confused, a little bit unsure. That's why I went here. That's where I got distracted by the descriptions. So I don't really know why I'm looking there. I don't really understand why I went inside, but then, I realized, what are you doing? I realized, what the hell are you doing? It's that tree. What the hell you were thinking? And of course it was this tree, but I lost like 20 seconds here, right? Stupido. Anyways, to control 18, that was pretty straightforward. I ran around this and then, like passed through these greenish patches, whatever. And then I wasn't really following all these other runners. I was trying to go my direction, but they were going the same direction, so it makes sense to go there. And here I wanted to go straight to the control through the forest, but I kind of deviated because you try to avoid the branches and the trees. So then I basically ended up on that path. This guy is probably going straight to the control, but here, as you can see, I'm fighting my way through this forest, and then I ended up on this track. So I just ran around, and yeah, I might have lost like 5 to 10 seconds here, but I think it was worth it because At least I found the control and didn't get lost in this non-runnable forest. Control 19, I think it was the same as the day before, and I basically followed the other runners. They had a control there. Maybe they had one more control there. So yeah, I wasn't following them. I was going in my direction. I kind of knew that it's this way, and but I got distracted, as you can see. So now I'm a little bit off, but there were these, how you would call it, like already there were tracks to the control, so I just followed the tracks. I guess I didn't lose much time, you know, a little bit of course, but it wasn't that bad. And here of course this is the last control, so I started pushing it to the finish. I think, no, I probably didn't overpass this girl. But yeah, I was pushing it to the end here, and yeah, it was, I could feel it. That I was giving it 100% here, and yeah, here is my colleague. Now I will be just catching breath. Inspired by the other runners, I sat down and calmed down a little bit, and I must say that running the first leg of the relay has its advantages because you are kind of guided by the other runners around you, but at the same time you really have to be focused on the map and keep your concentration. As you saw at number 13, I lost it there, and that's why I did that mistake. But other than that, it was okay, and I think I did fairly well. I ended up 7th of 16, and I thought it was quite good performance. And my colleagues, they pushed us to 3rd place, and then to the 1st place. So at the end, we won, and it was very successful weekend for me because the day before we ended up 2nd. I'm sorry for this kind of video ending. I forgot to turn off my camera, and I'm turning it off now. And if you wish, please subscribe and give me thumbs up. See you next time. Bye.